Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Morgellons Call of the Week. It is Sunday, January 31st, and I am Robin from Western Mass. I can't believe January flew by. But so my story is that I had been renting rooms in my house, and my house got infested with bed bugs and fleas, and I took down a bunch of bird nests, and so I also got infested with mites, and all of these things are vectors for Morgellons. So so I had fleas and bed bugs and mites and Morgellons, and then I hired an exterminator to get rid of the fleas. I figured I'd start with what should be the easiest, right? And he brought in the springtails. And I actually caught one. I said, I think I have these springtails in my house. And he said, oh, yeah, they're all over my house. I can't get rid of them. So I was ready to burn my house down. I could not make any headway. My house was so bad. And I asked my pastors to pray for me. They prayed that God would give me creative solutions. And the next day I found Richard's book and this call. And started my journey back, and I did get totally clear. My house was clear. Unfortunately, last Christmas I opened Christmas ornaments that hadn't been disinfected, and everything got reinfested. And then I got sick with COVID and was in bed for almost 4 months, so I did nothing, and it got pretty bad. And I'm at the tail end of that journey, but improving all the time, and I'm here to tell you you can get your life back. It's not impossible. And so that's why I am Richard's co-host, and I'm thrilled to be able to give back to the Morgellons community. And I'd like Ethel, our greeting coach and master doodler, to give us a brief introduction about herself. Ethel, if you would.
Well, thank you. I started this journey by checking into an Airbnb. I rented a place at an Airbnb, and I got up the next day and had these red discs back on my shoulder, and I asked a friend of mine that I met for lunch what she think those perhaps were flea bites or what, and she said, go back and check for bed bugs, and I had never had a bed bug experience, but she told me to pull the cord back on the mattress and stuff, and of course I had my foot under the bed, and when I pulled it back, a bed bug jumped out along with a bunch of what seemed like just little trash at the time. And I had on Florida shoes, and I couldn't get back into my house because I was having it tinted. So I had to just keep all the things in the car, and the bed bugs, I just evidently went through everything. And when I got back into the house, I went trying to attack the bed bug problem first. But I was noticing a sensation up my legs, but people were telling me I was just having these phantom sensations, just kind of spooked about having the bed bugs. And by the time I got, to a doctor, she treated me with albendazole and ivermectin. I did several rounds of that and stuff. And finally I had a friend who told me to please try some, natural, some herbs. And I reluctantly tried them, and I started getting better. But I was 9 months into my battle, excuse me, by the time I found a naturopath who was so excited about Richard's debriding soap. And she said, just please try it. I've just heard so many good things about it. And I did. And the first day I put it onto my face, I could just feel things popping. And I felt that I had a very good lifestyle. I've been a vegetarian for many years, and I didn't, have any real habits, I thought, other than eating. And but I didn't try the diet, and therefore I just prolong my agony by not doing the diet. So finally, once I started the diet and did all the things on the protocol, I found myself really improving greatly. I hope to be totally well, but I am just very accepting of each window that opens a little wider to my being at restored health. I'm not so devastated when I have a setback. I know what to do now, and I just move forward. I lost absolutely everything in my house, including the appliances, all the window coverings, all my clothes, my jewelry. I got another car. I vacated the house for 4 months, and then I vacated again for a couple of months. Had it retinted, had it smoked several times. So it's been quite a journey. But guess what? I'm worth it, and we're all worth it. We just got to work at it, and I'm so thankful that I did find this protocol because it has made a world of difference. And that's why I participate each week, and that's why I make the calls, because I do want people to realize there is some help and there's hope. That's my story, Robin.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. What an amazing tale. Oh, God bless you. Wow.
Well, he has.
Yeah, I believe it. Me too. So at this point, I'm going to introduce Richard Kuhns. Now, Richard, he's been in the trenches, just like all of us. He has had Morgellons and springtails and parasites, internal parasites, and he found the diet through trial and error over a period of 2 years by trying one food at a time and keeping a food diary, and he found which foods feed the organisms and which foods starve them, and I'll tell you, his diet really works. It's amazing. The diet alone, it's not a cure, but boy, does it make a difference. And then he developed protocols for cleaning your environment, cleaning your skin, cleaning your clothes, your car, and we, as his research team, has helped him. But, you know, he wrote this book, and I think it has 10 editions now because, you know, he never stops researching. He never stops learning. Doctors don't even open the door to research for this stuff. And Richard is working on the 11th edition of the book now, and he's available for people to email him questions. He's here on this call with us. I am so grateful. He has helped so many people get their lives back. It's a hard, long journey, but it's not impossible, and Richard has made it much more accessible to all of us. So thank you so much, Richard, and I just want to introduce Richard Kuhns at this time. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Ethel. I am honored to be here to be a factor in you guys getting your lives back. Hundreds and hundreds of you have done it over the years, and we know that the program does work. It's important that you work the program. The program, the crux of the program is this diet that you've heard about. I call it the king diet, not because it has anything to do with royalty, but it's tops. It's like king, the best there is in terms of getting your life back from parasites. It's the best anti-candida diet, except white rice is on this diet, and you would need to remove that if you're dealing with candida as well. So people have actually done the diet and declared that they were cured just by doing the diet. Well, there is no cure, and when you go off the diet and you make some mistakes, you're going to be reinfected. So it can provide tremendous amount of relief. And in every call, it's kind of like driving an automobile with a clutch, except this automobile has maybe 4 clutches? Yeah, can you imagine? Well, it's not all that difficult. It's just the fact that it's important to do basically 3 things at least simultaneously and at the same time. So starting the diet, it's very strict. It's non-forgiving. Non-forgiving. You have one little tic-tac and you're off the diet. I mean that breath mint, you know, the tic-tac breath mint. You have one little tic-tac breath mint and you're off the diet and you have lost hours of progress, maybe a day of progress. You have a marinated steak and wow, you've lost a week of progress. So it's a non-forgiving diet, and the good news is it works, and it has stages. That's the good news. It has stages. So stage 1 is the strictest. It could take anywhere from a week to maybe a month or 2 before you can get into stage 2, where your diet expands and you can have more foods, and then eventually on into stage 3. So the first clutch is getting on the diet, sticking with the diet, and making it work for you. I always say, don't try the diet. Do the diet. It works. Make it work for you. Keep a diary, just like I did. One lady found that, yeah, she could eat rice, but only a certain time of day. Now, okay, that's important. So, but for most people, the diet works for 99% just the way it is. And then for that 1%, you've got to figure out the tweaks and so forth to make it work. Now, the second thing that's important, and the second clutch, is disinfecting your environment. I mean, most of us have no idea what we've encountered until our environment is totally infested with these organisms. They're all around us. So, I mean, if we could catch it early on and jump in the bathtub and use some good Epsom salts and debriding soap or who knows what, you know, any kind of soap and clean them off, that's great. But usually it doesn't happen that way. The effects of these organisms accumulate, and by the time we recognize that we have something or dealing with something like Morgellons or Columbella, also known as springtails, also known as snow fleas. So by the time we recognize that we are infested with these organisms, we may have been to 2 or 3 doctors, and the doctors have said, well, I can't see anything, you must be delusional. So the bottom line is your house is infected, your automobile is infected, and until you start into the program, no matter what you do, Ethel has shared that she has been taking ivermectin and albendazole. Well, they're 2 fine medications, but they won't do anything except keep you status quo, perhaps, until you're on the diet. The diet is the trunk of the tree. Now, the second clutch is disinfecting your environment. Getting the organisms out of your environment so you're not reinfected, because in the beginning it's hard to tell whether you're itching or the itch or the biting comes from something you ate that's not on the diet, or whether you got reinfected by sitting on your couch. So my book is rather detailed. Chapter 3 is over 55 pages of how to disinfect your environment, and the third clutch is getting them out of your skin. Now, they've taken up residence, and within a couple of months, they become systemic. They go under the skin, subcutaneously. They get into, people say, they're in my nose, they're in my eyes, they're in my ears. I can feel them in my throat, you know. They get systemic. So we need to clean them out of our skin, because if you're dealing with Morgellons, who knows, you may have had several layers of skin that have already been shot and ruined, and you may be shedding those layers of skin. So 3 things simultaneously: the diet, disinfecting, and bathing. We recommend bathing with our Nature's Gift debriding soap 3 times a day, along with a disinfectant. Could use Epsom salts, peppermint oil, apple cider vinegar. In the book, there's probably 12 or 14 different things that people use as disinfectants. Our debriding soap has been lauded as probably the best there is. As Ethel shared, she went to a professional, and that person turned her on to the debriding soap. Now, all of our information is free. The book is free in ebook form, computer format. You can purchase it on Amazon for $24.95 or get it from us for about $15.95 in our online store. So information is free. These recordings are free and are recorded on YouTube. And we have an online store. Now, the information is free. We are not here to promote or sell anything on our store. If you can find other things that accomplish the same result, the book points out what you need to do. It's your job to figure out where, 18 years ago, I used to send people, before I had written the first book in 2006, to maybe 15 different websites. You know what that's like. You got to put in your username, put in password, got to remember how the website works so when you go to check out that you don't spend 6 years going in circles trying to figure out how to finally get checked out. So our goal is to have everything you might need in one store. So if you can find it elsewhere, fine. Otherwise, we do invite you to take advantage of the work that we put into our store. Now, the fourth clutch. If affordable, the fourth clutch is supplements to build health and immune functioning. Now, the FDA requires me to inform you that we, none of us, my coaches, neither me or our coaches, are here to diagnose. We're not here to mitigate. We're not here to treat. We're not here to cure any disease. And that before you start the diet or any of the recommendations, you are to thoroughly discuss them with your medical doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems you're presently experiencing. The AMA also requires us to say that what we are allowed to do, we are allowed to educate. So the purpose of what I do, and Robin and Ethel and all of us, is to educate you in how to get them out of your body. That's with the diet. Clean them out of your body. You can clean things. Clean them out of your environment. Clean them out of your skin and build health and immune functioning. And towards that end, that's where we get into specific targeted supplements that are compatible with a diet so that you can get your life back. And because if you take, multiple vitamins are important. We don't get enough vitamins from the foods that we eat. No way. And when we are affected by these skin parasites, knowing that they're systemic and they're inside us, and if you do research on Morgellons, you'll find it's also known as Lyme disease. And if you go to any doctors that specifically work with Morgellons patients, they don't work with Morgellons patients. They work with Lyme patients. So Morgellons is known as AKA Lyme disease. So the supplements need to be compatible with the diet. And I've done a lot of research. Even the multiple vitamin. It's taken years to find the multiple vitamin that's completely compatible with the diet. So to summarize, to get your life back, there are 4 things that are important to do. 3, an absolute necessity. 1 is the diet. It's the trunk of the tree. The tree has many limbs on it. And the book goes into all those different limbs: bentonite clay, phenylated iodine, rifing, the frequencies used with rifing, and many other approaches. There are different limbs of the tree. What I've done in the course of my over 20 years have identified the most important limbs that have produced the most results for the most people. So while everything is discussed in the book, including faith healing, everything is there, I've identified, and when you're complete and send back, and I now analyze it, I'll send you back the specific recommendations of the tree limbs that I've found. So diet, number 1. Number 2, disinfecting and cleaning your environment. For me, ammonia did the trick. But for Robin, and for some other people with more resistant mites, there are over 40,000 species of mites. 40,000 species. So some of them are more easily to deal with than others. I was lucky. Perhaps if I had been more resistant, I would have never gotten my life back and wouldn't be here to share what I know. And as Robin said, each of the people in my program is my research team. And I learned a lot from Robin and her experience because she's dealt with more resistant mites than I had. I learned from Sandra, my other coach, in how to deal with infestations of the scalp. So I keep learning. The book keeps updating. One lady said, gee whiz, I don't know if I want to give you 5 stars for your book because you have grammatical errors and you don't really have an index. I don't care. I want to get you the information. The good news is that Ethel is a professional. I just found out that she's a professional editor, and she's going to be working with me in editing the next edition. So hopefully the next edition will be free of grammatical errors, and we'll have an index and make everybody happy. But in the meantime, compare the book and the information you learn in the book with what you've learned from your doctor or anyone else. Make that comparison and rate your stars on that. The third thing, clean them out of your skin. And the fourth, if affordable, is to do the supplements to build health and immune functioning. So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming into the program. We do this Sunday call every Sunday. You're welcome to tune in live. You can see it recorded on YouTube. As you're reading the book, if you have questions, you're invited to email me questions. I get them back to you, answers usually within hours. Sometimes I need to do research and look things up on Google. That's my encyclopedia. And get back to you. We have coaching. Robin is a coach. We have Sandra. We have Ethel. We have Barbara. So we have free coaching. And we're here to support you in every way possible in getting your life back so that you too may become one of our coaches if you have the time and would like to give back. So thank you, and we'll close this segment at this point.
Okay, so hi, this is Robin from Western Mass, and we are starting our topic of the day on today, January 31st, and our topic today is supplements.
Okay, Robin. The AMA requires me to inform everybody that before you start the diet or accept any of our recommendations, you discuss them thoroughly with your doctor, that we're not here to diagnose, cure, mitigate, or treat anybody. We're here to educate. And the supplements are an optional. I think they're very important, but depends on one's financial resources, because oftentimes by the time people find us, they've already lost everything. They've already thrown out their furniture. They're sometimes homeless. So it's sometimes a challenge. So, but if we're looking at the important supplements, we want to start, number one, with a good multiple vitamin. A good multiple vitamin we have is our Nature's Gift multiple vitamin. You know, it's like 15 years to find this goody thing here. It's got no minerals in it. We'll talk about them in a moment. It's specially formulated for Lyme disease. It has, you see, the problem with finding multiple vitamins is there are many, many phenomenal, fantastic, very good multiple vitamins in the market. But they all have something in them that is, to one degree or another, incompatible with the diet. And if you go off the diet and have an ingredient in any supplement that you're taking that's listed on the do not eat list, you may as well not be on the diet. So we're very happy to have the Nature's Gift multiple vitamin. It has all the vitamins, again, formulated for dealing with Lyme disease, aka Morgellons disease. So that's number one. Number two is minerals. We don't get enough minerals in our food. Now, what we like, or what I have been using for many, many years, is Nature's Gift alkalizing minerals. This is coral calcium. Comes in little sachets. You put the little sachet in a glass of water, or in a little sachet like this. You put it in your glass. Now you need to use glass or Lexan, because the pH of the water will go to about 10.5 once you add this little guy in there. It's got all of your vitamins in it, and not vitamins, all of your minerals. Over 70 trace minerals are in the coral calcium, and they are in the right balance. You see, there are two things about minerals. One is that it has to be the right balance. Two, if the balance is off, it doesn't work. So somehow they found that the coral calcium off the shores of Japan, in Okinawa, at some areas where they farm this, has the exact ratio of minerals that the body needs and uses. Now, these are ionic minerals, because it's not like taking a capsule or a pill. For instance, this is calcium, Ca++, calcium in the ionic state. Calcium, magnesium, manganese, selenium, all these minerals are in the ionic state. They are not in a chemical compound. Like, for instance, and I'll explain what that means in a moment, we also have Nature's Gift mineral supplement. Now, the mineral supplement comes as most minerals do, and many times these minerals are in multiple vitamins. So it's a multiple vitamin, multiple mineral thing. So in this case, we simply have multiple vitamins and the minerals. Now, what am I talking about? The ionic minerals are, the term is bioavailable. In other words, the calcium that you get and the manganese that you get from drinking the water is ready to go to work right away. Your body has to do nothing. It does not have to assimilate. The minerals in this are, like, for instance, calcium biglycinate. Well, that's calcium tied to some molecule called glycinate. So the body has to separate the calcium away from that other thing in order to utilize the calcium. So it has potassium iodide, selenium methanol. Well, I can't even pronounce these things. But it's not just selenium, it's selenium tied up with something, so it takes the form of a solid. It's a solid. So when your body takes it in, it has to be assimilated. It has to be broken down somehow by your body, and sometimes our bodies are in such sad shape, it's trouble to get the body to really do that. So that's why I recommend this, and it's part of our Columbula pack, aka Lyme pack. Now, the next thing, people say, well, if I could only afford one thing, what would the one thing be that you would recommend if my dollars are so limited? Well, the next thing I would recommend is the Max 1 glutathione accelerator. There is a module about glutathione. In fact, we recorded it last week. I'll briefly go over. Glutathione is manufactured in your body. It's not a supplement that you take. You can buy it as a supplement. The problem is that it is a large tripeptide molecule, and when you take it as a supplement, your stomach thinks it's food and breaks it down, so it becomes food. And maybe 18 or 20% of it, maybe 30%, might actually get into your body to do some good. Now, this product was discovered by a researcher in Japan. He figured out how to take D-ribose, which is a natural sugar, and L-cysteine, which is what is called the limiting molecule, the limiting amino acid. The glutathione tripeptide is 3 amino acids: gluconate, glycine, and L-cysteine. Okay, so he figured out how, and the limiting molecule is the L-cysteine. He figured out how to bond L-cysteine with D-ribose, so it gets into the cellular mechanism where the D-ribose helps the mitochondria and the cell produce ATP, and the L-cysteine gets combined with the gluconate and the glycine to produce glutathione. Glutathione there protects your DNA from free radical damage. Morgellons is a free radical killer. It will destroy your DNA. Research says that glutathione stands in the way of that, inhibits the DNA from being disrupted by Morgellons. The glutathione is the body's major detoxifier. It gets the toxicity out, gets out the nickel, gets out the lead, gets out the cadmium, gets out the pesticides, cleans up your cellular structure. And it's a major anti-inflammatory. So inflammation, the heart of all disease. All disease is connected with some kind of inflammation. So it helps the hemoglobin carry more oxygen and build immune functioning. So if anything, it's important to boost glutathione. Now, instead of getting, say, 20 or 30% boost in glutathione, 2 capsules of this will boost your glutathione level to about 270%, which makes this a super thing, a super supplement. For me, this was the product, in addition to the multiple vitamins and the minerals. About 13 years ago, I was suffering from chronic Lyme disease. It almost killed me. When I added and boosted glutathione, I improved 95% because it gets rid of toxicity. And Lyme disease, the spirochete, loves toxicity. So those are the 3 so far: multiple vitamins, the ionic minerals, and the Max 1. The last one, is, well, there are different approaches here. This is our Garcillin. It's Acillin, A-L-L-I-C-I-N. It's a derivative of garlic. As soon as garlic cloves are opened, the acillin degrades very quickly. Researchers in England figured out how to capture the acillin, and they did that. They encapsulated it. So 1 capsule is equivalent to about 35 cloves of garlic, if you could just eat them raw and not break them open. Many people for many years have used colloidal silver. I've used it personally many years ago. I have never found colloidal silver to be nearly as effective as this. If you go to Wikipedia and look up acillin, they claim it's a natural antibiotic, antiviral, antiprotozoan, anti-parasitic, antifungal, just as people claim colloidal silver is. We have colloidal silver in our store. 300 to 1 use this instead of colloidal silver. Colloidal silver is great for helping with your eyes and cleaning your eyes. Great for, you can take it. People who do take it, I ran across an article about the 10 worst skin diseases. I forget what it's called, but the number one was changing a coloration of skin from too much silver. So it can be an issue, and everybody that sells you colloidal silver says it's not an issue, but that's the number one skin issue. Number two was Morgellons. Okay, so, and yet, like I say, 300 to 1 or better prefer the Garcellin over the colloidal silver, and you have your option. We have them both in the store. All four products are put together in what we call the Columbella or Lyme pack. That's the essential nutrients. Now, when we're getting into Morgellons, we go a little bit further, and we'll do that in another update. To the essential ones, the Columbella Lyme pack. And when I added as I shared, the Max 1 boosting the glutathione, my Lyme symptoms decreased about 95%. I found it rather interesting that if I got stressed out, like maybe being upset about not getting to an appointment on time, my symptoms were exacerbated with the Lyme. And then along came our Garcellin. Somebody introduced me to this, to Acillin. I took one capsule, expecting absolutely nothing to happen. What can a capsule do? One capsule, and my knee inflamed 100%, and the pain came back excruciating, like it had been years and years before. It detoxed me. One capsule. It took me 2 weeks to get rid of that inflammation, using massage pillows to drain the lymphatics, and I take 2 a day now, and I'm 99.9% free of Lyme disease. Is it a cure? No. My feeling, and free information is my report. Lyme disease doesn't have to own you anymore. It's free. It's on our website, bestmorgellinscure.com, or you can always email me, and I'll send it to you. It has all the basic treatments that are recognized for Lyme disease, but the bottom line is, if you are nutritionally balanced, you may not need any of them. So, yes, it's not to replace them, but use it. Use this as your first line of attack, and when you're nutritionally balanced, if you do need any treatments, whether it be antibiotic or whether it be rifing or vitamin C and zinc, not vitamin C and sea salt, the Himalayan salt is the best approach. So all those techniques are in the book. You could even go to Europe. There's a clinic there where they'll raise your body temperature to 107 degrees over a period of time, and that wipes out Lyme disease too, and also your wallet. But hey, sometimes it's important to take drastic steps. I always say do this first, and then do what else you need to do if you need to do it.